Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the 40k adjacent show, the 52nd episode, because it is, of course, a one-year birthday. I'm joined by Val and Pete, and welcome. Happy birthday and congratulations to you both. Thanks for being here.
Happy birthday and congratulations to you.
Yeah, you've managed to retain us for an entire year.
A incredible feat. Pete has got up at 4 a.m., on 2 hours sleep every day for a year, which honestly is unhealthy.
Every day. Not even just for this. I just do it now. That's just my new shtick.
I'm pretty sure that's an improvement for Pete's overall health and well-being.
My wife is always like, "Why are you up right now?" I'm like, "Why not?" I mean, I'm getting so much extra work done. I'm laying on the couch exhausted for the whole day. Everything's done. I look like Jim Vessel now.
Jim Vessel is a good-looking guy. You know, every time he turns,
except when he looks like this. Like, this is his little babushka outfit that he gets into when he hasn't slept in 6 to 8 weeks, which is common for him as well. Although his is mostly drug related.
The chat are very impressed by Val's filter that he has on, and also Pete's Ewok filter.
Yes.
Val, how are you? Are you well?
I'm good, and because we were talking about representation on the channel, I thought I would help out.
I can't look at. No one look at the screen. It will be bad for your health.
Pretty lady. I'm a pretty lady. What can I say? I can't help myself.
I don't like this at all. Anyway, filter.
Bravo. Yeah. What were you going to ask me?
I'm not looking. I'm just not looking. Thanks to Deadwoods and Gitley for resubscribing. How has the past... Oh, no. Are you well? How are things currently?
Well, things are pretty good, I'd have to say. Life is continuing to clip along. Vaccination rates skyrocketing everywhere but Canada. So that means that soon it'll get better here, and perhaps someone will give me a jab, you know?
And I'm not unaroused.
I think I'm a really good-looking lady. I'm quite proud of myself. Thanks, Snapchat. Here, let's stop doing that. Here, I'll stop doing that. We'll just go to something boring where I'm not a pretty lady anymore.
So I'm going to so like Sunday, you guys were busy on Sunday, so I was going to take you guys through the questions I asked the hosts on Sunday, if that was okay with you two. But before that, I just wanted to generally catch up on the news. And if there was anything exciting in the 40k universe that you were like, that's some real hot shit that we should crack open. Because there has been some news, Drukhari book, and also the Warzone Kakaradon.
Chatargadon?
Yeah,
Chakatyralon?
Yeah, but
Pakora?
They nailed it. Nailed it.
And so I wondered if you guys had any thoughts. Pete, do you have any thoughts about it, generally?
Yes, Drukhari are balls crazy. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Are they balls crazy?
They're balls crazy. Like, the double succubus build is going to be some pretty insanity. I can't even talk right now. It's so crazy. They're so good.
So are witches better all of a sudden? Is that what's happening?
Oh, Val.
Tell me what's
You're
cool.
gonna
What are the
get
kids
your
talking about? What are the kids talking about?
You're going to get your shit pushed in by some witches of all varieties.
It's an aggressive turn of phrase, guys.
There's like hellions and witches and the master succubi. You can get a witch. You can get a succubi with like 40 some odd attacks in the right atmosphere. Pumping out mortal wounds with other builds.
Yeah.
Racks are good. Drazar, Master of the Beyblade.
He's not good, though.
He upgraded. Like, he went out and got the best Beyblade he could find, straight from Japan. Titanium build.
It's fresh out the box.
Like, these guys are hot and spicy, but I don't think everybody's going to be able to do well with them. I think there's going to be some select people that have gotten used to this kind of build that are just going to wreck everybody's day, though.
I want to hear more about that. I want to thank Mr. Chucklebutty in the chat for donating £40 to the show, which is incredibly lovely of him. He says, I need that double 69 action. What better than the 40k show, the adjacent show? Thanks.
Maybe I should turn back into a lady for him if that's what he really wants.
Don't do this.
Thank you. Oh, Jack Vin, thank you for resubscribing. Chucklebeat, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. And it also does say 269.69 on the overlay. So that's very much appreciated. Now I've gone all fop sweaty and I don't know what to do. So Pete, please continue talking about this for a moment.
Drukhari, super crazy. Book of Rust has some cool stuff. We'll have to see how it plays out. There's some cute stuff you can do with Freeblade Knights now. There's the Metallica stuff is pretty good. I think the actual winner in that book is also Drukhari because their Cult of Strife supplement just makes them even better. And their codex was already pretty hot and spicy. So I think this is going to change up the meta a little bit. I think it's definitely going to have an impact. I'm pretty happy with the Drukhari book. Not sold on the Book of Rust of yet. I think it's cute. I just wish it wasn't for matched play because I think we're getting some rules bloat. But like, it's not terrible by any means.
Is there a Super Shaka in there?
There's nothing for orcs. Nothing for orcs.
But that will bring me up into the next thing in a moment. I think I agree with you, Pete. I think maybe it's a bit confusing that there's some rules in that book. And there's a bit of bloat, but I guess as long as we have a consolidated singular data place, data point, somewhere in the world, maybe
somewhere someday,
then that works really well. Thanks to 40k Stat Center for resubscribing. Also, everyone in the chat, if you guys are a big fan of the adjacent show, we have a permanent emote now. If you are a subscriber, there is an adjacent emote in the chat. How
do you find them?
You just open up the chat, and there it is, adjacent. There we go. We got it for long times. We might change it around. We might add some other stuff.
Good.
But
good for our placenta talks, Angela Lansbury, when that starts happening.
The Angela Lansbury one from last week. There was a very funny YouTube comment. I can't remember what it was. It's something about
you sent it to me. I also don't remember. That's how funny it was.
It was good though. I would say that the 40k news has been pretty good this week, but probably the most exciting news, Val, this is probably up your street, Pigoths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first of all that it was second edition is new again, and that's cool, I guess. And a little disappointed because I myself have a soft spot for the cyborgs.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that the cybernetic weirdness that was the OG Snakebites is seemingly continued with this model line. You can see that he's got like a grafted on stabbing pole on his right arm on the beast guy. And there also seems to be some sort of a snakebite based or feral orc based pain boy that's going to come out with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So looks kind of fun and interesting. One of my biggest parts of my art collection is actually a bunch of converted savage orcs. So I'm pumped. I got 2 friggin' Garg squigs. So I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Okay. I'm very excited about it. I think it looks very cool. My co-host who I had on the weekend didn't seem that fussed. But I was. Oh no, Tom actually was very excited. I just think he was a bit subdued. He was excited. I was excited. I thought maybe a bit more than everyone else because I feel it's part of a huge orc release. I get that it's the savage orc part, but I think that it's going to be we might see new boys and a whole sort of reimagining. It's how I feel, but we'll see.
Well, if you look at those silhouettes as they're panning across, you'll note that there are some very second edition-y looking heavy weapons in there. And one might suspect that that's an indication that the boys are going to get redone.
Yeah, I've heard some scuttle in the butt. So
my favorite.
I think we'll see some good stuff.
All the other core troop choices so far have been getting redone. Drukhari, witches, and Cabalites, warriors, of course, the Primaris Marines themselves.
The Cabalite, when the Cabalite warriors got redone, they didn't change their weapon profiles, did they? That because that would be the bit that would be upsetting for me if we ended up with orc boys with because currently everyone's got like a bunch of 90 boys on bases, and while you may want to change to the new, better-looking Orc boys or different-looking Orc boys, whatever your opinion is, it would be a bit of a shame if it's a tactical marine to intercessor upgrade where it's a necessary have-to sort of a situation. But we'll see. Right, we will see.
I would bet, this is my hope and guess, is that they're going to be roughly the same size, just standing up. Because all orcs kind of look like, they all look like they're taking a dump while they're walking right now. So if
they all
just
look like they're playing
straight,
Warhammer. Do you not think? They're all hunched over a table.
Yeah, sailors.
I think I'd be all right with it. Honestly, it's fine. The biggest thing is, I think, as long as if you've rebased your orcs under 32s, you mix the then you have big boys and little boys mixed into your mobs, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine, as long as they don't have a completely new profile and they're different completely. And I
think that's that's the stinger. I don't think that'll be the case. I'm hoping.
What if they're a bunch of orcs that Mad Doc Grotznick secretly started growing on Armageddon in a series of vats? And Gazgul is like, he's come back after his head got chopped off and was like, I need some new shit. And Grotznick's like, don't worry, for 10,000 years, I've been growing these larger orcs in these vats. Also, we have all this technology.
Yeah.
Do you think that'd be a good plot point?
I don't know. Could they also have could they ride in a moon?
That's been done.
In a moon,
Keith, that's been done. Okay, that's been done in the
multiple moons.
It's been done.
Multiple.
But it sounds a bit too much like Attack of the Clones storyline, so I wouldn't want you to repeat that storyline.
I mean, it was so good the first and second time. Why not the third time?
Can I thank Tywinian for resubscribing? Appreciate you. Chuckabutty says they're mushrooms with guns and augmentations. You questioning their posture. Big hi to Stu. And also Gitley says occupational health has been trying to get the boys to stand up straight for years. Yeah. 11 out of 10. I like that. Right, so
it's just better for their attitudes overall, right? Like when you sit up straight, you just feel better. You're more confident. I don't know why they haven't done it sooner.
That's why I've got the stand-up desk, although I am perching at the moment. So on the weekend, because you two have been gorgeous enough to grace us with your presence for over the past year, and it's appreciated vastly, can I just thank you both from the bottom of my heart?
Pleasure,
because
really.
of that, on the weekend, obviously, we did the 369 birthday, but I took all of the, most of the regular show hosts were able to attend. Some weren't, but most. And so I took them all through a series of questions, which was lovely. And I thought I'd take you guys through the same questions, if that's okay. And then, because I hopefully then can create a super montage of these things, which will be lovely. So here we go. You ready to buckle up? Buckle up, Broncos.
I'm buckled.
Buckled. So first question. I'll give you a moment. I'll keep talking while I ask the question. Highlight of the past year. Your highlight. A highlight of the past year for you. It's an intentionally nebulous answer. A question. Like it's broad, so as to bring up what is important to you. Like my friend James somehow didn't mention falling in love, but did talk about his Gandalf collection. So it's your choice, and I'll give you a moment to think about it, and I will keep rambling till one of you is ready, basically.
Well, because you said that we have to go with the obvious highlights, JVP, hashtag JVP. He continues to rock, and he's a star, and he's a big deal. He's great. He's laughing and giggling right now. I love that guy.
The birth of your son, I think.
That would be my son.
In case anyone, my son.
Often I will say to my wife, "Give me back my son," like Mel Gibson did in the '90s.
Wow.
That was long before Taken, guys. Long before Taken.
Yeah.
You had Mel Gibson being ransomed.
I would like to know Pete's thing, but I would like to also ask what you think Mel Gibson's best performance was. Obviously, we know he's a monster, but let's try to put that to the side for the moment.
Oh, that's too bad. I was about to use one of those examples, but
Well, first of all, I can't even jokingly quote him because he's such a scumbag. But I'd say his best performance was likely in the random traffic stop incident in which he exposed most of his true beliefs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with. But
I'm going for What Women Want. Great film.
yeah,
I loved that film.
product of its time.
Yeah.
He's got a really good risky business moment in What Women Want.
It's really good. It's really good. Like, you guys just going to go for the traffic stop? Is that the point?
Man Without a Face. Man Without a Face is a movie about a man without a face.
Good.
It's a good movie.
Also
I actually
very
really
good.
enjoyed it.
Pete, what was your highlight
What about
for
all
the year?
the Lethal Weapons?
Was
Highlight
he Lethal
of
Weapon?
my
Oh.
yeah, Mel Gibson was in Lethal Weapon. At least 4 of them.
Of course. Oh my god. I've so detached him from like just I don't
good in The Matrix. He was really good in The Matrix.
He wasn't in that.
Speaking of Ransom being the original Taken, Payback, the original Keanu Reeves movie. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Also good in Les Mis. Really liked him in Les Mis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jurassic Park. Oh, good Mel Gibson movies.
When he dislocates his shoulder in Les Mis and then just like pops it back in, that's like one of the best parts.
Yeah. I think that was a hockey game.
Mm-hmm. That was the hockey scene in Les Mis.
My
and then a
highlight from the
helicopter
last
crashes
year.
down, and there's a phantom in the attic.
There's a phantom in the attic. I don't know. Not a lot of highlights in this last year other than doing the show, man. Not a lot. Not a lot for me. I didn't have any babies. My wife also didn't have any babies, luckily. We got Bronx more than a year ago, so it's not that. I've had some pretty cute moments with my kids stuck here in quarantine, but nobody cares about that.
I do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not been a great year. I guess Stats Center got to be on Warhammer Community. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
that's cool, man. That's cool.
Give that a 5 out of 7 at least. Give that a 5 out of 7. Las Vegas Open kind of working. Easy 5 out of 7, like that.
Kind of working.
I guess. Yeah, just doing the show has been the highlight for me. Basically the entire year. The only thing.
Really lovely.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I hope that's not the case. I'm sure Nopen was a bigger highlight. But okay.
I didn't enjoy that. I enjoy this most of the time, especially the placenta.
Yeah, Nopen was pretty miserable on the back end, for sure. This is much nicer. We just show up. It's great. It's way better.
Yeah.
Being a guest is that someone's like, do you want to be a guest on my podcast? I'm like, fuck yes, I do. What, 1 hour of doing nothing? I'm so excited.
Can I forget some things so I can do negative preparation? I will just let it fall out of my brain.
Now, you guys don't have to have done this, so this is okay. What was the favourite thing you painted over the past year? If you were able to do any hobby at all, it's okay if you weren't. There's no drama. Building. I'll also accept building at this stage.
I actually painted a lot the first quarter of the COVID situation. I think the favorite model that I painted was I did a Redemptor Dreadnought for my Blood Angels that I was pretty keen on when it was all said and done. Deckled it all up real nice. I don't have a picture, so you guys will just have to believe me. But that was my favorite so far.
Yeah, that works. Val?
I sort of started batch painting a bunch of my heavily converted Shooter Boys, and I built a ton of Space Marine stuff before putting it in a box and locking it in my storage closet. So that's basically all the hobby I did.
That's still plenty.
I'm halfway through a mob of 30 really heavily kit bashed Shooter Boys, and I've got another 30 behind them. And I need to get them painted before new boys come out, so that way one day they're actually. Otherwise, they'll never get finished ever.
So you can sell them to Anthony Birdsong, and then start a new collection.
Hey, tables and towers, am I right?
Tables and towers.
Okay, good. I don't have any. I've painted loads over lockdown, but I also been just fresh off the printer. I thought I'd show you guys because it's fun. Some brand new Tyranid Terrain, which I think looks pretty dope.
Ooh, that's pretty spice.
I was wondering what that was. Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It's picante.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? I can't wait to paint it up. It's just I've talked about this loads, and I'm not going to go on to it again. It's quite hard to print terrain, knowing that probably the best terrain I could do is some sort of derelict building in Kent, which makes me really wonder whether or not Games Workshop are in some way prophetic, because I really do feel like derelict buildings in Kent are basically probably the post-apocalypse coming soon.
It's the future.
It's the future.
I'm pretty sure that's what they've based literally the entire whole 40K lore on now. Is just Dan Abnett and Aaron Dembski-Bowden walk around Kent once every couple of weeks, and then they start to write. That's their inspiration.
Yeah. So I but this is fun. I think this looks amazing, but I keep looking and I'm like, are you impassable? I don't fucking know. What's the plan? Are you
Call them ruins.
Huh?
Just call them ruins. Give them obscuring. Done. Boom. Bang.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's probably what I'm gonna plan on doing. But we'll see. It's interesting trying to create themed boards, and anyway, that's my today job. A little bit more fun for me to do. Okay, so it's been a year of hot
Rob,
goss.
shut up. Rob, shut up. Rob, shut up. 1 second. What was your favorite thing this last year?
Thanks for
turning the tables. Has anyone asked him yet?
Obviously not, because he's taking forever to think about it, or he's just overly dramatic.
I think I think it was bringing to fruition the Super Series, which has been a burr in my brain for maybe 5 years, as a kind of idea, and having it fully flourished and put together is nice. And then I'm super excited about doing a 40K Super Series and an AOS, more AOS Super Series. I think that has to be my highlight, bringing that to I was nervous. The presentation of the first band show, I was physically nervous, which it's taken a long time
tell.
For me. Yeah,
you could 100% tell.
Yeah. So
you were vibrating.
I was, and that was scary because that was putting something that I really believed in out there to the world. But generally, it's been taken quite nicely, and there's been loads of questions about 40K Super Series when and whatnot, and I think that's something that both you two, I often think about you two, when I think about 40K, I do, I simply do, and I'm like, what do I think would be what fits into that? Because you're both super savvy guys. I'm like, what fits into that universe that works really well? And I think both of you would enjoy the kind of drama process of the band phase, the teams, then watching the matches. I think that would be that would be something that would be interesting. And I'm not saying a cut above a battle report, but in some way more involved in a lot of ways. And so I'm very excited to try and bring that to fruition a bit more. But that's probably going to be my highlight. But then there's been so many. Everyone's been amazing. There's been a million highlights this year, because what I do is so involved with amazing people all the time. It's quite overwhelming, actually, some days, and I have to go away and just have a very mundane day and just sit. I mean, most of my days are actually pretty mundane. Can't wait to chisel this bit of MDF later and put this terrain on it. Okay. So what is your...
Rob, I just want to say I'm really happy to hear that you said that, because I know how much it meant to you, and I know how much and how long you worked at it, and that's really awesome. And I'm super jacked that the stupid people who live in the UK are at least into getting vaccines, and that very soon you're going to be able to do that shit again.
It'll be nice.
It'd be really nice. I'd be fascinated because it doesn't matter. I could talk about it all day. I was super excited. I'm really enjoying the WTC kind of thing, listening to Tom and Neil and the pairings guys and getting really involved with that. I'd be very excited to get really good at commentating pairings and other stuff. And we've talked about whenever WTC does happen, you guys flying over and having that stats sort of in the world desk. And I think that would be really fun. And I think doing the Super Series stuff will be so positive for me because I'll learn so much. I'll be able to bring quality kind of conversation to that and have people who are also having that quality conversation. I just think it's really exciting, ultimately, for everyone. That's what I'm really jazzed about, doing something for everyone that's going to be fun. Anyway, this is about you guys. Right, so what has been this year? A year of hot gossip. There have been drama threads galore of many varieties. There has also been incredibly positive threads and reactions, love thrown around. So what was your favorite interaction on the internet? It could be any or all of the above. What kind of stood out to you as a peak moment of internet because we've all been locked in our houses, unable to communicate other than via the internet. I mean, oftentimes we do that anyway, but what was the kind of peak lockdown 369 or 371 actually? 371.
I can't even remember what sparked it, but there was like I want to say 500 or 600 comment thread on my Facebook page over something mundane. Maybe it was not mundane. Maybe it was Black Lives Matter or something to do with the virus. But
I think it was gun control. I'm pretty sure it was gun control.
Oh,
I think you made a gun control comment.
Yes, it was that someone brought an assault rifle. Sorry, not an assault rifle, a semi-automatic rifle to a protest and shot a bunch of people. And I said, maybe you shouldn't do that. And this was contentious for some reason. Yep,
it really was.
That was my highlight.
It got real in there.
Oh, it got mad real. Also, second runner-up would be when Zach Baker called me an internet troll, who's the organizer of the London GT. Called me a troll with a fake name, and I was like, "Yeah, but the mustache is real," and that was it.
That's a good movie line. The mustache is real. Bang! You're like, I thought you were against gun control. Only for you, sucker. Bang, bang, bang. Pete, what about you?
I don't know. Like, there was a lot of pretty decent moments, especially like kind of early to midway through when people were first getting kind of fed up with everything. I think there was that like little period when I said that when I made the comment about how ITC teams need to be redone because they're bloated and the rules are easily abusable, and then gave examples, and then the entire state of Texas decided that I hated them. I think that was a peak highlight for me because I think I've mentioned it on here, but one thing that I kind of really wanted for a long time was to just have a bunch of people hate me.
Okay.
Because it all started one BAO a couple years back. I went and Pablo and I were staying together, and when we were hanging out, Pablo was like Pete, people love you. You're the only co-host on Chapter Tactics I've never received hate mail about. And I was like, well, I'm going to change that. I am going to make it my mission to make me the most hated Chapter Tactics co-host you have. And I think I succeeded because I don't know if anyone else got an entire state. I think some people have gotten here and there little bits and pieces, but man, to get the whole state. I thought the Dark Angel stuff would do it. I want to go on
Chapter Tactics now because I'm pretty certain Americans can't read wholesale, like start to finish.
Like the goal isn't to like really hit it home. You just gotta unintentionally say something you don't think is even like worthy of anything.
Yeah, and then it's gotta be innocuous. Yeah.
Yeah, and then have literally like an entire state just be like, you wronged us. So I think that was my big one. Big miscommunication there. Much love to all those guys, but man, that was a fun one for me. It felt good. Yeah, I think most of the other drama that's happened in the last year has kind of just felt off by a little bit. We've had a lot of it, but man, it's not peak stuff like we had in the old days. We need some peak stuff.
Our 40K drama's been a little bit, it's been trying too hard. You know, they're really, really reaching, I feel like, on a lot of the 40K drama. I mean, no one, for example, has been busted in the background of a video cheating on his girlfriend live on the Honest Wargamer. Like perhaps one of the greatest moments of all time.
That was really good. That was
wow. Was that ever remarkable?
That was good. I don't know what was better, that or accidentally setting up a camera show downstairs in the bar, and somehow Tom Layton turned up for a date opposite us, which we did not know. I don't know if you ever knew that. I don't know if you ever saw that episode. Yeah, like years ago, like when we first started doing this Wargame, it was way too hot upstairs, so we couldn't. So I just set all the camera equipment downstairs in the aircon bar. And there's a big floor-to-ceiling window, and opposite the road was a Pizza Express. And then before the evening show, Tom had arranged a date, which we didn't know. And so then we just commentated live on his date for like half an hour, which was great.
Oh, my goodness. Wait a minute. He took his date to the Pizza Express?
Across the road, yeah.
Incredible.
Pizza Express is a hot place to go.
It's a hot place for a pie.
Hey, I've been there for some dates. No criticism from me, and it was close to work, like close because at that point we were obviously
Close
meeting
to
up
work,
to physically do the podcast. So anyway, that was super fun. Commentary, that's what it was. All right.
Wow.
I mean, there's been a lot of good news points over like 9th edition, the app.
Oh man, so many app stuff. Oh,
The app.
the
I
app
take it for
was
granted
like
right now.
the app. I was in a rage for so long over that app.
It was sad.
So long.
I
Like,
believe I gave it I don't know if it was on this show or elsewhere, but I believe I gave it 80% chance that it'll be good because it's so important they couldn't possibly fuck it up.
yeah, something like that. You were really big on it. You were really like Val. I felt so bad for you because you even at first you were like, I think we can make this work, and I was like, it will not work. Val.
No, I never once said I think we can make
You
this
did.
work.
You were
immediate heart.
so positive. You
No.
were so positive.
When it
about
was actually released? No.
even
it was
after
all great.
released, you were
No.
like, "Ooh,
No.
this is bad, but I think it'll be better
No.
soon. They'll fix it right
No.
away."
No, you were
They never
lying.
did.
You were
They never
lying.
did.
You are a liar, sir. You are a liar, sir.
Val, you've always
might
been the GW apologist, and it's okay. You're allowed to be.
That's
We
fine.
need one.
That's it.
We need one. There needs
That's
to
it.
be balance.
You know
There's
what?
my
You did
apathy.
this to yourself. You did this
Rob's
to yourself.
rage.
I'm sorry.
Your
but it's your fault.
apologetics.
It's your fault. Now, when you're alone later, thinking, "What do I got in the bank?" It's gonna be this.
Oh
Val,
my
little did you
God.
know, I've already blocked off that whole half of my computer screen, so I have no idea what's happening over there.
I'm just not looking at it. Is the key point?
Oh, my smile's
I
so
just
great.
see air going around my phone, so I'm like, oh.
I wish I could flick my hair, but I can't.
I really enjoyed Pete's very quick, like, psychological diagnosis of all three of us. He's like, Rob's rage, my apathy, and your optimism. Like, we need that as a mix. And I was
That's
like,
true. It's a really good
yeah,
combination.
that's true.
Honestly, I'm good. Like, I'm now committed to going back and reviewing the probably 1,000 hours of podcast tape that I put down in the month leading up to that app release, and I will destroy you with it, Pete.
That
Yeah.
poor
Because-
intern
Val,
of
you
yours.
You love GW so much.
You
You
son of a
always.
bitch.
Son of a bitch.
You goddamn bitch. All right, so what was your favorite thing that they released? So Games Workshop specifically, Games Workshop. The favorite thing that they've released over the past 371 days. Favorite
The app,
thing
by far.
You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
Favorite thing in the last 300. 9th edition. Slam dunk. 9th edition. It's
Yeah.
great. It's a great edition.
I agree. They did a great job with the ninth.
What's funny about 9th edition is that it's a fucking slam dunk game. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I'd call it if I thought it was even close to horseshit, but it's not. Like, it's good. Like, it's a great game. Like, you can talk about imbalances as much as you want, but like, it's 11 out of 10. And what's funny is the actual launch was a catastrophe in so many ways. The app, the Indomitus box, the terrain book, all of it was just like nightmarish. But the whole way through, which is funny because sometimes they've just had a flawless launch. You're like, oh, this is pretty crap actually. Like, but this is the other way around. Yeah, they like walked up, kicked everyone in the nuts, and they were like, "Here's a cake," and you're like, "I really like this cake actually." So thumbs for me.
Yeah. You did your best to fuck it up as hard as you could, but you nailed the landing at least.
Well, but they front loaded. I don't know if you guys remember how it actually came out. It came out like all the rules. It was great, and then the points came out. It was like, oh, what? And then it was downhill. But like, I feel like all the way up to the actual release was what was good. To contradict you entirely, because I defended the app after it came out.
You've just been so like even now to this day.
Do you not remember the actual way that we got all of the rules was Ram Ranch?
Yes, Ram Ranch.
God, yes.
Ram Ranch.
It was horrible libelous insults directed at Mike Herbert.
Yep.
And several other people. It was great. Valrat got one as well.
That's right. Yeah.
I was angry that day, like Pete said, so that's my fault. Right, so so next one. What do you think the most valuable thing you've learned over the past year? Obviously, It's been a time for self-reflection for some people. Some people have had to live lives different to the lives they lived before. Pete, yours is exactly the same, apart from a bit of no travelling. But like, I think it's been a tough time for everyone, but also a time of self-reflection. A thing I learned this morning as I'm amping while you two are thinking through what you're going to answer with is I've learned I can't do a single pull-up. I got myself a pull-up bar, not one. So I'll be keeping track of that. I've watched a video on how to do pull-ups, so I'm on it. So that's the future.
The last time I was seriously dedicated to going to the gym, my goal was to be able to do a pull-up. And unfortunately, I achieved that goal and stopped going to the gym. So be careful. Maybe aim a little higher than a pull-up. But it is perhaps one of the most life-affirming moments is when you actually when you know that if you had fallen into a ditch that was over your head, that you could get out of it. Like, that's a pretty big deal.
It's quite sobering to realize this morning that I can't do that. I'm now going to genuinely be very conscious. Like, someone's like, "Do you want to go for a hike?" And I'm like, are there any potholes? Because I can't clamber out of a hole, it seems.
Yeah. Are there any man traps on this journey? Yeah. What is your guys? I've amped, I think, enough. What do you think? What I learned is, I learned that life is a lot better when all the silly bullshit has to go away. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when the world starts up again. But like I've talked to the people I like more. I've seen the people I don't like never, and it's fantastic.
That's good. That one's good. Pete.
Well, Bronx, relax. I don't know. Like, that's a good question. I don't know. I think I, more than anything, have learned in this last year that I can't do it alone like I thought I might have been able to.
What do you mean, the whole of life, or like just like
all of it? Literally all of it. Yeah, there's definitely been some struggles, and yeah. I mean, despite a lot of my world not changing because of where I live, etc., there is something very important to me about other people and being around other people and the energy I get from that. It's something that like sustains me, and not having a lot of that other than my family, which is great, but really having nothing else other than, say, the adjacent show, really, and my family, because there's nothing else to do in this town when everything's under lockdown, has really kind of enforced this concept that I just need other people way more than I thought I did. So,
yeah, agreed. Like you see people and the world lights up. Like, I get excited, like seeing you guys, like Nick and Tom, the Monday guys. Like, they're some of the most rewarding experiences of every day for me, and it's not even in person. So when I can just fucking bear hug someone, it's gonna be a very long hug, like awkwardly
I'm gonna
long.
get fines 100%. The next con or whatever the fuck I'm allowed to go to, I am there. Police, bobbies. I don't know where I'll be, but they're gonna arrest me. They're just gonna be like, "You're not allowed to touch people like that." And I'll be like, "Listen, I've not been allowed to touch people for a long time. This is gonna happen." And then I'll end up in jail for a while because that's really aggressive, and that'll be it.
When I finally get to see people again, the cops are gonna get called because every high five is gonna sound like a gunshot.
Oh, yeah.
It's just gonna be so fucking crisp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get real weird on people. That's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna like sit them down very close. I'll be like, "How are you?" They'll be like, "This is too intense. This is
like,
too much right
I went
now."
to a theater once and saw a friend I hadn't seen in like a decade, and I gave him such a crazy hug that a security guard came over and was like, and thought I was hurting him on purpose, like I was some kind of professional wrestler. I imagine this is just what's going to happen for like a whole weekend. It's just going to be constant security and police being like, "You can't handle people like that. Like, get him off your shoulders. You can't hug people upside down."
It's gonna be like every time.
Oh, go on, after you.
Oh no, it's gonna be like every time someone scores a goal in like soccer, You know, like they just take the shirt off and like everyone just jumps into a giant pile. Like that's how.
No, I don't
imagine
think
it.
it's that. I think that maybe the first tournaments are going to need to like maybe start an hour later, just so everyone can just really intimately reconnect for the first hour.
So many bro hugs.
I just want to open mouth kiss so many people. And if they don't like it, I'll close mouth. It's okay, guys. Just let me know in advance. When we meet, you just be like, no tongue. I'm like, okay.
All right. So lovely sentiments by both of you, by the way. Right. So this is a hot one. Loads of time to watch TV. Loads of time to watch movies. Yeah. We've had some amazing suggestions on the 40K Jason show. Amazing suggestions. Neither of you have still watched Wayne, but that's fine.
I watched the trailer. You made me watch the trailer. I did that for you.
I'll take it. So what do you think has been the standout 371 TV and or film? So you can choose either or, really. What's like really like hit home over the past year? Ooh.
It was Schitt's Creek for me. I mean, I acknowledged it on the show when we started this. Like, I was like, I'm going to finish this show because it was so goddamn wholesome, and I needed something so wholesome at that time. And then to like get into those later seasons where it just couldn't stop being more and more wholesome. Like somehow you'd watch an episode and then be like, wow, this is so nice. I can't believe it. And then the next episode was even nicer. And then like Eugene Levy is basically everybody's dad by the end of the series. And yeah, like there's been a lot of really good stuff in the last year that's kind of kept me going, but that was the first one after so long watching really dark Scandinavian murder mysteries.
That's right. I forgot about
that. By the way, after Schitt's Creek, I did finish Border Town. If you've never watched it, that family, they need to stop getting kidnapped. That man's family. How they were surprised every time it happened doesn't make sense. Literally every second episode, kidnapped or held hostage. Every second episode, no one seems to care. But man, Schitt's Creek, super good. I see someone mentioning Parks and Rec. I'm rewatching it right now. I've never rewatched a series before. Also super wholesome. Ted Lasso, if you haven't watched it, I haven't mentioned it on this show. Almost as good as Schitt's Creek IMO. So nice. Anyway,
that's pretty good. Yeah, you made me watch Schitt's Creek, and I've appreciated it. I've still got a season and a half to go, so I'm looking forward. You
have missed the worst part yet, the best part yet, I should say. That's
nice.
I must say, Pete brought me back down to earth and allowed me to revisit Schitt's Creek and be very pleasantly surprised. Enjoyed the whole thing. I would also say Rob's recommendation of Dairy Girls in a similar vein of just lovely wholesomeness. But I'd say my favorite thing that I watched this year, probably HBO's Watchmen.
That was really
good. That's
really good too.
It's peak sci-fi for me. I also watched it blind, so I didn't know anything about Watchmen coming into it. So for me, actually both me and my wife, it was absolutely wacky because a lot of that show's very different if you know what happened, especially if you know what happened in the actual graphic novel. Mm-hmm. So watching it blind was just really awesome sci-fi because there was so much mystery about everything that was going on. And anyway, yeah, that'd be my highlight.
Someone mentioned Kim's Convenience. That was also really good. They just canceled it actually like last week, so its last season's about to happen. Also a good show.
Because they started there's some terrible show on Netflix in a minute called like Superstore or something, and I was just like, no, you don't get money, and Kim's Convenience doesn't get money. This is disgusting, but that's life. Yeah.
What's the matter with Superstore? You guys don't like Superstore? It was great.
I watched all of it.
That's another nice show.
It had its moments. The thing I didn't like, I liked some of it. I didn't like the cringe stuff. That's always throws me off when it gets too cringe. It's like the beginning of Schitt's Creek, the first few episodes when they do a lot of cringe. Like there's moments where I'm like, but then when you get past it, it's great. I found Superstore was just like every episode there was always a moment where I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fast forward this part because it's too stupid. But then there's a level of silliness that's just like Glenn, the manager. Whenever he's on, I just like, this is hilarious. I'm into this. This guy's such an idiot.
Canadian hero. Apparently, Dave Foley comes in the season finale, which is fantastic.
That'll be cool.
Dave Foley, Mark McKinney are both alums of a great Canadian sketch show known as The Kids in the Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's why I love Superstore so much, because Mark McKinney's in every episode and he's fucking awesome.
He
And it
is
means that he can
hilarious.
retire someday now. It means he
Yeah.
actually has money, which is just so lovely.
One of my highlights actually this year has been listening to deep cut Canadian knowledge, like real deep cut stuff. Like I
We
sometimes
have a
will bring
rich
up
cultural history.
all the time. I'm just like, something comes up in the news. I'm like, the damn Mariners, damn you, Maritimes. That's it. Sorry. Snooker was also obviously perfect, and managing to get
Mariners.
you guys setting me up to be able to get Jim Vessel with Snooker on the Christmas show was like flawless. I don't know if you guys listened to that, but I had Jim on. I said, Jim, what's that game
you
with
told us.
and I got him, and it was just
I gotta tell you, that was the first time where I was being laughed at and didn't know why, probably since like grade 10. Like it had been a long time since someone openly pointed and laughed at me for something I was doing that I didn't know was wrong.
That was
It's not
probably
wrong
for that.
the best drama of the last year. Was Snooker.
The Snooker moment.
Yeah.
I do wonder now, whenever life goes back to, for some reason, you end up in Vegas, let's say, so it's like, do you want to go play some snooker? And you're like, what the hell are you saying?
That's weird.
Yeah, that is
Snooker.
It'll be Neil R. too. He'll be the one that'll bring it up, and I'll be like, "Don't say it like that."
You weirdo.
You're
Just a quick one on mentioning the Watchmen series. So the scriptwriter for that, which I discovered only on actually the weekend, did an incredibly good TV show. If you guys are interested, I talked about it a load on Saturday, so Sunday I won't repeat myself. Just called The Leftovers, which is like an incredible piece of like drama / kind of sci-fi, but just beautiful. Quick premise: 3% of the Earth's population vanish. They just vanish in like the first 5 minutes. Like there's no like flash of light or anything. They just poof, they're gone. Smash cut to like 3 years later. And I think the whole show is really about what is grief like when everyone is suffering grief and bereavement at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it's actually really relevant. I'd be quite interested to rewatch it now, because I feel like that's similar to how we're all feeling in this kind of all-togetherness of the lockdown, really, in some ways. So anyway, really great TV show. If you get the opportunity to watch The Leftovers, really liked it. We also wrote Prometheus. Never mind. Okay, you hit and you miss. I guess is Leftovers on Netflix or Prime? I don't know where. I think it was originally done by HBO.
Yep.
But like, it's not very old. It's only like it's got Liv Tyler in it. She's some sort of weird cult lady who smokes a lot. It's weird. It's really cool.
It ends in 20. Yeah, last season was 2017, so not too old. No.
No, and really well done in my opinion. All right, so final question. Nailed it. Final question is there's been some amazing content over the past year, and loads of great content producers. And I know you guys so what would you guys like to like shout out, or like something that you thought was particularly stand out over the past year, or just something you just think like needs a bit more love, or anything in that wheelhouse? That's the last question of the day. Like stuff you're like, oh yeah, that's a good way to take that. That was impressive. Or I enjoyed that. Like Nopen for if nothing else was an incredible, in my opinion, technical challenge that you guys managed to pull together, both in organisation and technicality. So I think that was really well done, personally.
Yeah.
So,
but the hosts wore dumb suits, so whatever.
100. It's okay. Brian wore a suit and a cardigan on Saturday, and honestly, like, come on.
Actually, so that bit of criticism from the maybe the coolest guy who's ever been on a 40K show, whoever that was,
Logan.
Logan, or I guess it was probably a Sigmar show. Anyway, just sent me reeling, because he said you shouldn't, showcasters shouldn't wear stuff that they couldn't then just like walk into the crowd and like fit in, they should look like the people they're talking about. I'm just sitting there like, what would that be exactly for a wargaming convention? Like a con T-shirt, or
band
like
T-shirt, cargo
like
shorts, specifically tan if possible.
Yes, of course.
Very comfy. If you're American, very comfy shoes. If you're European, sandals, or potentially barefoot.
Potentially barefoot. Yeah, full Peter Jackson. So, yeah. Anyway, that piece. Honestly, Rob, I'm not blowing smoke here, but the achievement of going 371 days in a row is astounding. And really, I think, given what both of you said about the need for connection, I think you highlighted at the beginning of this that it was just a place for people to come together and be able to see people on the regular and hang in there during tough times, and you did that, and you did that for me, and certainly Pete, and maybe a couple of people who are in the chat, and it's been tremendously valuable to me. So the Jason Show would be my number one favorite piece of content in the greater universe of the Honest Wargamer going on every single day.
It was not meant to be this, but appreciated. Very kind sentiments, thank you. I more meant the world, but it's very lovely of you to say so thanks.
Straight up, this is my favorite show, no doubt.
Falcon, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Val kind of nailed probably what I would have said, so we hit the sentimental bit. I don't know. I really don't. Other than this show, I don't know if anyone's done anything to me that's that special.
Oh, come
At least
on.
to me.
Titans, I'm going to shout out.
Titans are awesome.
They've done
Titans is awesome. I don't think they need the boost though. That.
No, I don't think they
part of the intro.
Yeah,
they've done an incredible job of helping push this community to the greater world. They're doing so well for themselves. I love all of them. I talk to them pretty regular, at least Bridger. I think the Nopen for me, and I talked to Val about this recently, highlighted a lot of people in this community that I wish had more viewers. Like almost everybody that was on that show at one point or another, I was like, man, they should have several thousand people watch them all the time. There's no reason. They're so good. We have so many great community leaders, community members. No matter what their target audience is, they deliver such good information. Dustin Henshaw from Stutter Scrub, that little video he did of the hive mind for the Nopen. I don't know if you watched it. Absolutely fucking balls deep, incredible, amazing shit that nobody else is doing. And he did it just on a whim as a joke for us. Super, just showed his abilities. Scary needs more people to watch him because the guy's just such a good, wholesome person. Vanguard Tactics, Stephen Box, if ever he could somehow get oriented so he's not on a tilt, just a lovely fellow. I could name literally everybody on that show, and I could say man, I wish more people watched and listened to these guys. The Mob Rules dudes, Danny McDevitt, came on as a table boss basically half an hour before Nopen started, and did just an awesome job helping us behind the scenes with no credit. He just did it. I could go on and on about the beautiful people in this community, and they all need it. A Jason Show means a lot to me for a ton of reasons, and that's why I would have said the same thing. Because like I said earlier, I have no human connection really outside of here. I go to work, I see one guy, right? Because of COVID, we're just not allowed to communicate with the rest of our coworkers in case we give it to everybody and then the tower closes down. So literally, there are weeks where I only see my wife and kids and you two, and that is it. And that is really important to me as someone that suffers from depression on and off. I've been open about it in the past. It's a big deal. So that's why the Adjacent Show is so important. But yeah, literally everybody in this community. I shouldn't say everybody. There are some fucking dickheads. But in terms of the content producers that I've gotten to meet with and hang out with, they're just good people, at their core. So
because they're passionate, I think is an important, valuable trait. I think, speaking as someone who is a very passionate person and very emotive, that sometimes isn't always the best thing to have all the time, because you can sometimes be not in control of that passion because it goes both ways. However, being emotive is, I think, valuable and important. And I agree. Yeah, there are just wonderful people making wonderful stuff all of the time. Which is great. So thank you for those kind words and lovely sentiments from both of you. So that's it. There we go. We smashed it. Because we got to go, right? 12:30, we smashed it.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Oh, I thought we had to start early.
We did, but we had to start early so that my daughter didn't interrupt us in the next half hour.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then There we good. That's what. So that's all my questions that we went through with my co-hosts over the weekend, and you guys, thoughtful and lovely. Thank you very much. Zaddy guy says, "Can I have a small shout out? Just wanted to share today is election day in Israel, which means I have a free day midweek for painting and TTS. But let's pray all for democratic and equal rights in Israel." All I want to say, of course you can get that.
Will
Zaddy.
BB make it a clean streak? Will he continue? I don't know. I haven't looked and seen any polls here. Is he going to keep it going?
Hard to say.
Old Benjamin. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
Big shout out to Datcom for subscribing, and you've got everyone in the fields in there, Falcon. This has also been really valuable for me. Like, just to turn the tables real quick. Like I don't even have the family to go home to, so it's just good old my flat above the Chinese. I mean, I say hello to those guys. Like, obviously, I'm like ni hao, and they're like, get out of here. You can't be part of our family.
Stop taking our food. That's a trash can.
White Walker. It's so funny. It's so funny. I want loads of Chinese people to be like, goddamn White Walkers. Oh, fuck. But yeah, like, all of these shows have been really valuable to me and super important. I think one of the other things that I get a lot, which I think also you guys have been a part of as well, is the Twitch chat, who don't come on the show regularly or at all, but they're here all the time, and we get some amazing jokes as a community together. Like, that community building feels really good. I'm probably not very good at actually community building. Like, there's probably a thing where I could be like, let's all get in the Discord for an hour after, and other stuff that, like, a better community builder could probably do. That's not me, though. I'm just not that guy. I'm not that organised. But that's been a lovely part, I think, as well, because the jokes have been really funny. And it has been really nice hitting partner, just because we get to do all the emotes, which I feel like is just some, like, very deep level in-jokes. And you two and me and all of the other co-hosts are already in some pretty rare cut deep jokes anyway. Like, you have to be pretty... Yeah. You have to be...
He doesn't get any of it.
It's 8 years of the Bush administration. There's a lot of backstory to get through.
There's a lot.
So there's, like, some real, like, rare grooves in here. And I'm a bit worried, like, when we go back to normal life, like, being able to relate those... I'll be like, it's like this thing. And they'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, okay, well, it's based off this joke we made 4 years ago. And
it's kind of like when I was eating this jam sandwich and...
Yeah, I said I was going for lunch to have a jam sandwich, and now I get jam delivered to me on a monthly basis from a guy in America, and I don't know what to do about it. Yeah,
are they good jams? Are they
a jam subscription? Yeah, a jam subscription. I get a box every month, and I'm like, oh, nice. Here's my new jams.
Is there a placenta subscription that I can sign you up for?
I don't want to. Do people buy that?
I might get flagged. I'm about to get flagged for sure by some government. Placenta subscription.
I was just looking. Yeah, never mind.
Oh,
never mind.
No, Edmonton. Ooh, okay.
Edmonton.
That's close to where I live. I wonder if I can get it shipped here and then shipped to you.
Close to where he lives.
It's only an 8-hour drive. It's only an 8-hour drive.
That's what close is.
Only 760 kilometers.
A highlight of the stream for me was, Pete, when your mother-in-law came and we were all with you through the journey. That was a fun time.
Remember when Pete woke up crisp and fresh as a daisy and was just unnerving?
For last day. For last day. It was so nice. Dude, I almost rented a hotel room for this. If we hadn't started a half hour early, I was going to rent a hotel room for this just so I could be super crisp and tight.
I think it's been pretty tight. It's been fresh. I think it's been really fresh. One of the questions I didn't ask my show host, actually, or my co-host, because I think maybe it's a bit too, like, tied in with everything else, which was going to be, like, is there anything in the future, like, with everything that's happened now, is, like, do you have any, like, specific goals? You're like, this is something now that I'd like to, like, achieve, in more Warhammer terms, specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was one. I didn't ask anyone that. Like, I just wondered if there was, or if it is a good question at all. Not sure.
100%. Well, I'll take that. I am on a mission to join Rob in popularizing this game as something to friggin' watch. And I can't wait for some live events to happen in my neighborhood that I can try and stream in a way that's entertaining. And in a way that probably will infuriate Rob, because because
Oh,
we
yeah.
have some distinctly different opinions on what makes for a good Warhammer show. And I can't wait
Rob
to see.
Rob is going to react one of two ways. He's going to be like, "I've been fucking doing that for 4 years. Get on my level," or he'll be like, "You're doing it wrong. What is wrong with you? But good try." Like those one of those two reactions you're going to get now.
I sound like a dickhead. I'm not going to
Well,
lie to you.
how many years ago
You're the
was
best
it?
dickhead, though.
How many years ago was it that I was in Nottingham? Was that 3 years ago? Was that 2017 or 18? I can't remember. Maybe 18. No, you were done. You were done already. You'd started Honest Wargamer, and and we met for breakfast. And Rob took me to the American-themed breakfast place in Nottingham, which I thought was really funny.
I was trying.
That's so nice.
Well, it is nice, but I want bangers and mash. I mean, I can get scrambled eggs and anyway, it's fine. It was cute. But
you just wanted like some Oliver style kid to. All right, sir. Would you want some porridge and some salt upon it?
I want a ladle of gray oatmeal. That's what I was expecting, and I didn't get it, and it was disappointing. But nonetheless, the point of this story is that Rob and I, first of all, fell madly in love with each other immediately. And second of all, just yelled at each other about everyone else being stupid for not realizing that you can totally make Warhammer work as a game that you watch on the telly. And one of these days, we're going to crack that code.
We're close. We're close. Like, I watch, one of the really fun things we've been doing recently is, like, at the end of each show, we've been raiding people. So, like, I see Forks Art in the chat, who we raided the other day, which was one of the most wholesome experiences ever. She just swore in Scottish for, like, 45 minutes, which was
Lovely.
It was really nice. And we've raided a bunch of people, and I think that's been, a really wholesome experience as well. But whenever I tune into any other streamers, like, there's a whole bunch of people whose names I've never seen in the chat. And then that makes me realize that, like, I'm like, well, where the hell are you? All the time. And that means that there is like a huge vast amount of people. And I think there is a code to crack. I think we're close. I think we're super close, like, in cracking the code that will make, like, very entertaining TV. That's one of the things I'm doing at the minute, like, with the little bar, like, raising some cash dollars for some more cameras, because, like, I'm at that stage now where I'm like, cool, pretty much got everything.
I didn't even notice that. What are you raising money for? What is that?
Just some more cameras. Just some more cameras. So, the PTZs that we use anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just more. So the system's able to support up to 8. We only have 2. But, like, so, I mean, the best version is you have 8 around one table. Like, and then it's insane. Like, you could auto track, like, the players. So, like, their faces are, like, constantly. Or you can, but, like, and then you go up to something like the WTC, where it's an 8-table event, and you could have a PTZ on each table, 8-table match. You could have 8 on each table. For something like the TSN, if we had 8, you could have 2 per table, which would be genuinely maybe overkill in some situations. But, like, it's true that that's the situation. I think having 8 PTZs at the WTC would be a fascinating thing. At the minute, probably the most sensible thing is 4, so 1 between 2 tables, which is what we have at the minute. We've got 4 tables and 1 PTZ between 2.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much, like, zip around the board as much as you want anyway, which I think is nice. But that's my next stage, because everything else, we've got a venue now, so now it's just like trying stuff out all the time.
I'm holding an invisible green tape measure. That's funny. I actually wanted to do a quick shout out to something that is coming up. Sorry, Pete, if I'm interrupting you. To something that Rob is lukewarm on, but I think is going to be a big deal for streaming tech, which is, if anyone's ever heard of Rightful Ruler, which is an AR app that allows you to do very precise measurements using your cell phone. And basically, you can see threat bubbles, and you can do distance of path, and you can add tags and have all kinds of stuff sort of holographically projected onto your table via your phone. I've talked to the developers of that, and we're working on getting a desktop version built that would allow streamers to use this with their cameras. So a streamer would be able to measure distances, would be able to, show all kinds of stuff graphically that right now we have to just sort of talk to. Anyway, they do require some funds to keep them, fed and sheltered during the development process. And that's going to happen on Kickstarter. So you can do Kickstarter Rightful Ruler. Probably going to go up next week. No, it's probably going to go up next week. They took an extra week to try and get some more demo stuff built because there was a lot more theoretical things that we had so far. So they're sort of building better content to sort of share the vision a little more clearly, and then it'll go live, and hopefully it'll pan out.
Okay, yeah, well, we'll do a show on it when it does, because we've talked about it. It's not that it's not I'm against it. I'm just lukewarm to it. I'm like, cool. That would be
literally
nice,
what I said.
Yeah, nice thing. Yeah, nice thing to add. I think would be the kind of big takeaway. But yeah, like, so we'll do a show on it when it does go up. Me and Val talked about it before off air, so we'll have like a chat about it, which I think is a key piece. What was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say.
So, actually, if I can address a couple of the immediate takes in here, Day, that's actually super true. So he's just saying that it's going to show how bad people are at measuring. And that's actually why built into for streaming overlay, we can sort of fudge it so that it's sort of accurate. But on the flip side of that, too, I envision this as a tool that in the future could be used by judges remotely. For example, watching a game, you can have your referees and your judges wherever they happen to live watching a stream able to actually enforce the rules of the game from wherever the hell they happen to be. And then default 369, Apple has the leveler and tape measure. It's trash. That might be so. This one isn't. It works. They're accurate to the millimeter when it's properly calibrated. So, yeah, that's not a concern. The technology actually is proven and does work. It's just awkward in its current formation.
Yeah, I'll have a chat about it on the show when like it goes up, and I've had a play because I have looked at it a year or 2 or 3 years ago whenever I met Nils and had a chat with him about it, and it is interesting and exciting. That's it. Can we, as 3 people involved in the competitive community, have a conversation very quickly? Because it's great that we could have AR ruling. Yeah, that's great. We could have like intense stats, like really good. But can we have the conversation about us never having the logo objective markers? Like,
oh, well, dude, right there. Your objective marker bubbles so that you can have your nice, pretty 40 millimeter. And then when you want to see what the actual bubble is around it, you just flip on an overlay. And every single one is accurately measured. And then you turn it off so you don't have to have those ugly fucking hockey pucks on there anymore.
But they're rough looking.
What? The large ones?
Yeah. Peter, you got no thoughts on that? Like, what was that? There was was it Clutch GT was recently, or some event was this weekend in America, and every table had some obnoxious set of objective. Like, I'm not saying get the Perspex ones that we make either. Like, it's fine. Like, but just something in world that's thematic, because I feel like that's the key point. As exciting as turning the thing into a watchable sport is, it should be like still they're battling in those ruins in Kent. Of course, we never want to get away from that. Like, we don't want the logos in Kent, I think is the key point. I don't know. Yeah.
I think we've talked about this specifically on the show, and I'm mostly apathetic to it. I'm okay with logos when you're trying to promote something. I don't like the logos for, like, this is my event, right? Unless you're somehow trying to make money off of it. Mm-hmm. Because I think they're fine occasionally. I do agree that, yes, it can take away from the immersion, particularly in like a streamed game. But it really depends. Like, we had them for Nopen, and I loved it. I wanted people to know what they were watching. And I'd do it again in a fucking second. But like, I get your point. I do. And I'm okay. I'm okay with either way. I'll live that dream.
Yes, Meatball says Vanguard Tactics have changed to concrete effective objective markers. There we go. Stephen
what does that
Box
mean?
On that cutting edge. So just something that looks like a circle of concrete.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
So it's not a logo. It's like, oh, they're going to go grab. I mean, someone brought up the other day, which I thought was a really solid point. It's weird that the dynamics of a board, because we're talking about terrain, it's weird that like someone doesn't think like capturing that tactical piece of terrain is the objective, and instead it's standing in the open together is a weird kind of like battlefield thing. Like, I get that. That's a fair conversation. Maybe if you just put like a pot of gold or the servo skull or whatever in the middle, then you're like, they need to go grab that. That's the reason they're there. That makes loads of sense. But yeah. Okay.
You know, GW does make objective markers that are literally that.
Wrong size though.
Yeah, we need to put something underneath, but yeah.
No, as in it's 40 mil So it's a 40mm base, right? Like that you measure from, and then you measure 4 inches from. That's a 40k objective marker. They're 50mm bases.
Yeah. I remember this, but I think we could fix that.
Yeah, we can.
I think we
just put
could
on a better base.
yeah.
Well, I haven't
We're
had a chance
geniuses.
to use them yet, but I bought these.
Oh, nice. Are they the Honest Wargamer ones?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, nice. What do you think?
I stand by
Honestly,
my
honest
comment.
review right now.
Oh, I love the concept. I think it's great, and they even had these like token things that you can use to like demonstrate who's got them, which is great. But I just literally the pandemic happened. I've never been able to use them. But I think in concept they're great. They need to be pinned down probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I think replacing that with an AR overlay probably is a little slicker.
That's fair. Okay. Listen, gents, it's been a bit. I've talked about this on the show before, but I have a bit of a problem nowadays. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, but I hydrate a lot, and then sometimes towards the end of a show, it becomes a problem. So I've been holding on. So I'm gonna just bid you both adieu. Thank you both for being lovely and going through these questions, and also thank you for the past year. I've appreciated it loads, and it's been brilliant. And I hope that you guys can stick around for as long as, because I think maybe when the world opens up and events go back, I'm probably not going to do the weekends, but I probably can't see a world where I'm not going to do Monday through to Friday for the foreseeable future. And I don't mean like just the next 6 months. I mean the next couple of years maybe. Like I really enjoy it. Like I can just turn it on, shoot the shit, or like I can talk to you guys, and I think that's great. So as long as you guys are willing, you let me know, and we'll carry on. Or we'll turn it into a fully fledged alternate show, the adjacent show, which could be a fun thing.
Been threatening for some time. Threatening.
Big threats. But anyway, thank you very much. You're both lovely.
Thank you.
And big goodbyes, I think.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you got to
We're
rate
back.
something?
We're back. We forgot to raid anyone. Oh my god, I forgot because I was just so desperate to go. But we'll do that first because it's super wholesome. Have you guys done the raid before?
Never done a raid.
All right, okay, we're gonna go do this now. All right, okay. So what we do is we go find someone. I'm going to give you guys the choice on who you would like to raid. There is, we've raided him before. He's a lovely fella. There is a English/Spanish guy doing some painting. There is a guy with only 2 viewers painting up what looks to be, that's an 80 Sigma model. There's a guy with 1 viewer painting up a Custodes, maybe. I think.
Send it to him. Send it to him.
Okay.
Do it.
I
Go
like
Pete.
it. He's only got the 1 guy. So this is gonna. And what's nice is when we do get in the chat. Let's go.
There's so many people painting.
So many. Which is really funny when I asked you guys what's your favorite thing you painted this year. So there we go. So if you click on that link, or you click if you're in the chat, so it's Tungat is who we're going to go raid. And then I'll just end the show here. You guys are great. Do the raid things. Be nice. Make the guy happy.